In this video, I will be showing you how to efficiently farm PSE Bursts and how you can take advantage of the PSE Burst pity system. What's up everyone, my name is Thrift Shopping and I am very excited to show you exactly what we have discovered in-game in regards to how PSE Bursts work. But before we get started with the video, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Jazz for showing me how this pity system works and allowing me the opportunity to make a video for you all. Now let's get into it. Let's first start off by going over some of the basics of PSE Bursts that we should all know by this point, but may not be common knowledge. PSE Bursts are a large influx of monster spawn around the glowing zone that will result in better experience and rare drop opportunities. After that PSE Burst is complete, there will be a climax which will spawn a boss. You can trigger PSE Bursts in the 3 combat zones, those being Rezel Forest, Banford Labs, and Mount Magnus. How you trigger these PSE Bursts is by reaching 5 levels on the PSE gauge indicator, which is beside your minimap in the upper left corner. Now, each monster can affect the PSE gauge in a positive, negative, or neutral manner. You will sometimes notice when the PSE gauge increases that there is a large light beam around the monster that was defeated that did increase the PSE gauge. As you're exploring around these combat zones, you'll notice that there will be T's indicated on the map. Those are trials and they are required to earn the 5th bar of the gauge to trigger that PSE burst. Storms will also affect the PSE gauge by immediately boosting it to 4 out of 5 bars needed to trigger that burst, which means that all you need at that point is to find a trial and defeat that monster to hopefully trigger that PSE burst. Sometimes while exploring combat zones, you will have the misfortune of never reaching that 5th bar needed to trigger the PSE burst. Here's where the pity system takes over. If you are in a room that has not seen a PSE burst in 10 minutes, there will be 0 drops to the PSE bar. What this means is that there is a guarantee that you will see a PSE burst in the next couple minutes just by defeating any monsters and finding the next trial. What this system ensures is that no matter what room you're in, you will see PSE bursts. Now, through testing with my friends, we have noticed some limiting factors to this system. One of the biggest ones is that this system is based off of who is the room leader. So what do I mean by that? Here's an example. Say you join a 1 of 8 room. That person who is in that room is the leader. You're now part of that room, you are 2 of 8, and you guys are going out and training. If that person who was in the room originally leaves the room, it will immediately reset this pity system back to 0 minutes and you will be the new room leader. This is why in some cases you might have been in a room that hasn't seen that PSE burst in 10, 15, or in some cases 20 plus minutes. It's because the room leader is leaving and then it's selecting a brand new room leader and resetting that PSE pity system to back to 0 minutes. So now if you are considering going out and training for a prolonged period of time, I would highly recommend room transferring until you find yourself in a 1 of 8 room, making you the room leader if you plan on training. If you can make yourself the room leader, you will never have to experience this room leader change, and you will never experience that pity system having to reset, and you should always see consistent PSE bursts. So now that we know the game intends on you to have a PSE burst occur every 10 minutes, how can you use that knowledge to take advantage of triggering more PSE bursts? The first thing you could do is just not worry about it and just know that every 10 minutes you should see a PSE burst. If you take advantage of you becoming the room leader, you would never find those lull moments of having 20 plus minutes of no PSE bursts. Every 10 minutes, you should always see one. The other way you could train, and the way that I would recommend, is to keep a trial active, meaning you don't go near it, just keep it there, and you would actually go and train around other clusters of mobs until you reach that 4th level on the PSE gauge. At that point, everybody would then turn to the trial and defeat that trial monster, and hopefully that would trigger that PSE burst. By keeping a trial active in this manner, you should actually see more PSE bursts, and you should very rarely see the pity system come into play. The reason for this is that trials take a while to respawn. So if you're continually taking them out and not taking advantage of being at a level 4 gauge when you defeat them, you can catch yourself in moments where you're at 4 bars and there is no trial active, in which case you will probably go defeat a monster and that bar will probably go back down. So now, how can you take advantage of this pity system? What can we do to utilize the information we just learned while we're training in these combat zones? Well, since we know that the pity system is a 10-minute timer, go ahead and start a timer right after the PSE Climax boss is defeated from the previous PSE Burst. Now you have an accurate timer running down how much time you have left before the pity system will take place. Armed with that knowledge, you can now decide as a group what do you want to do in certain situations. Let me give you an example of what you can do when you take advantage of the pity system and have a timer actively running. Say for example, you're at 3 to 4 bars on the PSE gauge and you're close to the pity system being active, like 1 to 2 minutes away. As a room, you may consider just waiting for the pity system to be active before fighting more monsters so that you guarantee that that bar will not drop and that the next trial you see should trigger that PSE burst. And on the other hand, say you still have a few minutes to go before the pity system is active and you're at 3 or 4 bars. At that point, you might as well continue fighting monsters to hopefully trigger a PSE burst before the pity system is active. At the end of the day, this system may not change how you farm, and that's completely fine. But for some others, understanding this 10-minute pity system and implementing a timer alongside some player cooperation, you should see an increase in how many PSE bursts you experience. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing for notifications on future NGS content. I also stream daily on Twitch and post fashion and photos on my Twitter. Come join the community and chat in the Discord too. All links will be available down below.